Welcome everyone, this is Scramble from Emotional Crypto Trading. What a beautiful day we have out there to do this specific technical analysis on Sunday. We're going to talk about BTC today and share with you the most important movements of the space, of the market, and of the things that you would definitely want to care about. Today, I'd like to talk about the data that is hiding behind the technicals. As usually, we're going to make sure to underline all the important points which needs to be considered in your future trading activity. Before we dive into that, let's talk about the pure statistics side, which is 253 billion market cap, 56 billion 24 hours volume. It seems like over this week and yesterday and today, market have just moved on a sideways chart and with a 24 hours volume which is below the averages, right? So it's kind of shut down these days with some of the alts that are finding parabolic movement, but that is usual. I mean, we have to find out which is the average movement of the market for every single day. And there's obviously going to have a few of the altcoins leaving this average space and finding some parabolic movements depending on the news, depending on the milestones achieved, depending on their marketing, and so on, right? But what cares about here is the fact that the market goes sideways in this period. We're going to see how the charts are looking like right here during the 5-minute candlestick, which is short term and only for day trading, guys. And then we're going to dive into the 1-hour trading charts, right? So pretty beautiful positions right here and easy to trade over the last 2 days. What we have here is a clear downtrending channel for the last 48 hours. Now, this downtrending channel for the last 48 hours is for the BTC. It is very, very limited on the power, which needs to be considered. And by the way, this is also a part which we always have to measure. How powerful are the movements? We're talking about the bulls or the bears. You always have to measure their capabilities of pushing the market and the points of their reactions. Is that point where the market reacted and it's considered a bull's domination, is that one meaningful or not? There's two specific categories for this: non-meaningful and meaningful points for market reactions. As long as one dominates the space with more meaningful points, then of course you want to trade that, in comparison with the other one which has confirmation at specific points on the charts, but those are not that meaningful like the opposite direction has, which is another part of the technicals as lessons, right? So what we have here specifically is a downtrending channel with the support line confirming very, very nicely. We have a clear entry point right here, guys. This does represent a very, very clear entry point for long, and from there until we're touching the first resistance, you have about 1%, which is multiplied with the leverage. You're playing out to be on 5x. That sounds to me 5% profit in matter of a few hours, with an easy possibility to make money out of this. But keep in mind that we're talking about day trading here, so do not expect something like 20-30% in matter of a few hours, because that's not really happening every single day, and day trading is not all about that. Right, so here we had a very, very clear entry possibility. The top did also confirmed with the resistance, and by the way, the green line we have right here is the downtrending channel resistance line with a lot of the confirmations. Once again, this was very, very good to be traded for short, especially this point right here. That one is an amazing position to be traded as shorting, because the clear breakout failure is happening over there. You know what happens here is from this bottom the market forces for a breakout, which is all right, but then it has a little pullback, which is again the pattern of the bull flag. It tries to continue and complete the next step of the bull flag. It does try, you can see that. Then it forms a double top here, right? With the first one, it creates a double top of resistance. That clearly tells me that the bulls have failed to break out. They did try it for a few hours. They did succeed creating a bullish flag a bullish pattern that turns out to be without a confirmation. The confirmation would be as soon as the breakout would have happened. Then we have a confirmed pattern. Until that, there's only probabilities of that pattern, and in any case, we have only probabilities of a pattern until it's fully confirmed. If you remember, there is the head and shoulder pattern, which is the most easy to explain for this principle I'm trying to lay down. We have the left shoulder, we have the head, and then it starts with the right shoulder. Well, until here, as you can see it right now, until that position, until that progress, it's quite easy to be created. But afterwards, the right wing, it is the most difficult, right? So the last wing, this one, it is the most difficult to be completed of this specific pattern. The same thing does apply with all of them. It does happen till 90-95% progress, but then they're failing to be confirmed, because that's exactly where the opposite energy starts activating, knowing that if the pattern would actually complete, they would have the ability to dominate towards the market. So that's a crucial point in order to determine the rejection and make sure you take control of the market. This is how trading works, guys, psychologically. So this is what we have here as well. This is how we do the technical analysis, and we learn to do such a things in the full coaching program, one-on-one with me, live directly with me on Skype. We do lessons and we learn how to become traders professionally from A to Z. Great. So we have the center line of the downtrending channel, which also has implications of major supports and resistances, and most of the times we have such a thing when the channel is quite large, which is this case scenario. It's large from the bottom till the top, which means it's wide. That's the case today, and we could have used a center line of the downtrending channel correctly, and has a bunch of confirmations, like I said. Great for long entries, as you can see, little percentages, of course, you can accumulate, but that is all about day trading, especially when you have the ability to do margin trading and you can multiply this with 3x, 5x, 10x. You can definitely make a lot of the money even with day trading. So right here at the end, lately in the last few minutes, we had the confirmation. It was actually the last confirmation for the downtrending channel resistance line that we have seen, and it's currently the 6th one, right? So we have the first one starting, second one right here, third one and fourth one with the double tops, fifth right here, and then the 6th. This tells me that the line is very powerful compared to what we have here at the bottom, 3 confirmations. So we have currently a parity, 3 against 6 confirmation, but here the center line has a lot of the confirmations for the bulls and its supports. Take a look at that. It's confirming for the upper side once again over here, and it keeps doing like that. We have at least 6 confirmations over there. So right now the market is quite oriented upwards from this perspective, even though the channel is slightly downwards. We're quite oriented upwards from statistics. What we have to do is to see once again how powerful is going to be the market movement at the time we touch the resistance over here. And then of course, take a look what's happening with a potential breakout. Where do we enter? Well, the entire thing I'm representing over there is clearly 8,000 up to 8,100 resistance zone. This is what we have. Whatever you see between that area of price, between that zone of price, clearly does represent resistance. It's quite dangerous there, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have the ability to break out. As long as we have minimum 5% breakout power, volume explodes. There's going to be Facebook probably coming out saying that they're about to create their tokens, exact date they're going to have on that, and give us more details. As you already know, these days everyone is talking about the Facebook crowd sale and their token and all that stuff, and some of this parties of the space are telling us that the alts are going to die whenever Facebook is going to put out their token which of course has no real sense. One project with the other fundamentally has no real sense. In the conspiracy area or speculation area, you can create any type of story. So that does not work like that. And it makes no discussion here. It makes no mean. Right? So rumors, what matters, and just only a single lesson that you guys have to care about with a Facebook token is the fact that it's going to increase the global interest for the entire space. And it brings up the confidence level dramatically, right? So this is what we care about. This is what we're interested in. Global interest. Imagine if 5% of Facebook users are going to use this. It's going to be, millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people which need to dive into the space, and they probably have to buy BTC in order to transact, to exchange all of the other tokens. One way is the Facebook token, the other one is other altcoins. However, what we care about here is the fact that they're going to dive into very deep into that market. Right here, we've got the 1 hour candlestick, guys. And we've got very, very important price points that are telling us clearly where we're heading towards. If you use this chart here, I can tell you that you make a lot of the money in the future, because I've mentioned here the most important price point for the current statistics. And if you use this to trade, you definitely need to make a large percentage out there. We're going to start from the bottom. We have the 7,500 support with very, very clear confirmations. Take a look at that. And it still activates like that very, very nicely. Especially here where we had the second bottom created. Just like we spoke before with the double top. Second bottom, double bottom right here. It does represent nice support. Take a look at the movement which happened afterwards. We had 6%, 7% multiplied with leverage. That can be an easy 20% profit that could have been achieved by a very, very clear pattern that says buy here. I am a double bottom. I am 80% bullish, 20% bearish. If you're trusting 80% bullish, 20% bearish probability, buy me. You bought it, you made money. If you know how to trade, you do these kind of things. If not, you're just watching and hoping. So 7,800 support is definitely mentioning the movements at the right time as well, with a lot of the confirmations everywhere, kinda in the middle part of the market. And next level support of 7,500 is realistically here at 7,800. It does confirm like it would be handmade. Take a look at that. Is there anyone who controls this market handmade? Why is it confirming just like on the line? And it's already thousands of times that does like that, like the Swiss watches. This thing right here does make it handmade. 8,100 resistance, another important price points which we're pretty much afraid of right now, and it's the last place where we have got stuck right now. Take a look at that, 8,100. Multiple confirmations, dozens of confirmations. Very, very strong support at some point, and that's the way it's going to be in the future to us. If we break out, 8,000 is going to support us, and as long as it does, you know who's going to be our enemy? 10,000. Until that, there's nobody going to be right here between us. And June has a high probability to touch $10,000, so do not be afraid about that, especially with the BTC. I'm just wondering what the altcoin market is going to do if the BTC takes off. I'm just wondering about this. I'm also wondering if Facebook is going to put out their crowd sale this month. How people is going to react? Are they going to sell their alts to BTC and buy with BTC into the crowd sale? What are they going to do? It's quite a difficult question. If they still have credibility in the ICOs, or if they still believe that such a huge ICO could determine a potential profit for long-term investments. It's very, very hard to say, and I don't want to dive into pure speculation area because we don't have proper data at the moment, which would have dictate us what's happening and what are the probabilities. Good, so 8,300 is the next level after 8,100, even though that is not that powerful for now, but still, 9,000 is the big deal. $9,000. Now, let me tell you, if the news are great around the space, June, July, pretty slow, I would say. You know, market is going to take off later on this year, especially when people get back from holidays and from this summer period when things are slowed down for sure. They're not as fast as they could be. This is the question, and this is the matter here. I'm not saying that we're not having the ability to touch 10,000 this month. I'm saying that things in summer are slower than usually. If we wouldn't be during the summer, maybe we could have touched 12,000. This is the comparison I'm trying to make out and the notes I like to point out. So prepare for late summer to see larger movements. Prepare for the altcoins till the end of the year to see a few X. Just like a stable increase of the market. Just like that. And then 2020, probably the most crazy. The craziest year, hopefully. That's what the data tell us right now, so we're believing that, of course. We're not trying to go into the speculations and the dark side of the space, but still trying to remain white, pure, and look at the data only. And leave alone our interests and desires, which could affect the research process and the analytics, right? So that's all about today's video presentation, guys. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a lot of the people checking after technical analysis videos, and I'm sure this ones and this type of videos are helping you as long as you want to do serious trading. You also have a one-on-one coaching program interested to become professional. Make sure you do that. We're trading since 2014. Yeah, put your opinions in the comments area. Make sure you hit the like button. You know, all the usual things you do on every YouTube video that you like. Thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you soon.